triple 5-star hotel.
Okay.
It was called the Mandarin Oriental.
Wow.
And
that sounds rich.
yeah, it's on this island in Miami.
Yeah.
And it was really intense because I had to wear a suit every day.
Mhm.
And like the days. So one thing about the hotel business that you like don't realize when you is staying in a hotel is that this business can never shut down. It's a 24/7, 365 fully operating business.
Mhm.
And when you have a business like that, if you're working for that business and that company, you kind of live a 24/7 life with the company.
Yeah.
So for what I was doing, I was on the clock. Like I didn't have like a set schedule. There was days I worked 16 days straight, you know, minimum 12, 14, I mean 17-hour days.
Wow.
So it was really rough, and you know, it was humbling for me, especially psychologically, because I was working this job. I was already working with like big artists. Like I was working with FARRUKO at the time. I was even working with Bad Bunny. No one knew of Bad Bunny at the time.
Early Bad Bunny.
It was the time when he made this song called Crippy Kush.
Okay.
So I was working with him and knew Bad Bunny before he blew up. And I was working with an artist named FARRUKO. Shout out my boy T. Cates.
Mm-hmm.
His bro, this dude named Frank. And that's FARRUKO's manager. And at the time I was living downtown in this condo, and my boy T. Cates was living in that building. And there was a girl that was like best friends. There was a girl where her brother was best friends with him. And that girl told him about me. And then one day we randomly met.
Right.
And then he just brought my beats to a bunch of artists, and FARRUKO was one of them. So at that time, imagine I'm working at a triple 5-star hotel, fresh out of college. I'm being bossed around in this corporate place. And then I'll leave work and go to the studio with like Bad Bunny and FARRUKO or Tory Lanez or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. And not to mention like 2 months behind on rent too.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that part.
Yeah. And then, but so no, that was after actually.
Really?
That was after.
Okay,
So I actually
want to mix up the timeline.
Yeah. So I worked that job for there was a day I quit. And when I quit, my boss, shout out to him because he did something really cool. He allowed me to work. So I told him I'm going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back to me and he was like, you know what, man, I'll do something for you. I'll allow you to work part-time on your own hours.
Wow.
So whenever you want to come in, you just let me know. You can come in and pick up some hours.
Oh.
And I did that after I quit for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then I finally was just like, man, like I really need to give music my all, man, and really go. And that's when I fully quit. And it was like 2018. And 2019 was the first year I just didn't work a job at all.
Yeah.
And that was the year where I was just hustling. I was like, even like anything I could sell, I was selling. I was selling beats. I was selling music equipment. I think I was even selling clothes. I really turned into a salesman, bro.
Yeah.
And a super hustler. And then, at the time I had Benz and a condo. So like, I just didn't want to lose any of those things.
Yeah.
So I was just grinding really hard. And it was tough, like I said. And then we get to that point where I was just behind 2 months on rent.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to do. And then at that time I was working on the Chicks tape for Tory. And I was just pulling up to the studio with beats and beats and beats. And then I think he didn't even tell me he was working on Chicks tape. I just seen it in the interview. And I just played him a bunch of beats and songs. I was writing, I was producing, I was recording. I was just doing everything I could at the best of my abilities. And then one day he just hit me like 3 a.m, like, bro, send me them Chicks tape sample beats you did.